Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of Robbie's Backstage Bants. Today, I'm joined by Stephen Ashfield. Hello. That
Hello.
was hilarious. I know.
You've got to do the ding dong,
I'll put some ding dong effects in, shall I?
ding dong. Hello.
I'll add some sound effects. How have you been? How have you been coping with all of this awful stuck in your
I'm
house?
good. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, mate. It's been okay. It's been like a long year. I think everyone has felt it.
Yeah.
It's been tough, especially when there's no theatre happening, and it's been hard. But we've all found ways. I stayed in New York until August. I
Oh,
think August
really?
September last year, and then because I'd been there for like 4 years by then. So I left my house there in August and came back to Scotland.
Mhm.
And I went to Glasgow where my parents are. Well, I had to do my quarantine. I came back and I did quarantine for like 2 weeks.
Oh,
My friend had like a free apartment, so I did that, and then I went to my parents for a long time. But I've been back and forward, up and down to London just now, so I'm in London,
really?
which is nice. Nice to be here. Nice to be in
I bet it
London.
is, yeah. And obviously the pubs have opened today. Everyone's gone out.
Yeah, I
Except
know. I
us,
was
by
out
the looks of
earlier.
things. I think we're the
I was
only
out the other
ones.
day. People are people are really going for it. People are queuing to get into TK Maxx. It's like, okay, your priorities are completely
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I mean, you do you. Everyone's missed the things. We've missed the theatre. They've missed TK Maxx.
exactly.
I don't get it, but fair dues to them. Um, so the first sort of questions I've got for you today are about your journey and performing and how you got into into the industry. I'll try and do it in English as opposed to gibberish. What is the journey of how you got to where you are today?
Oh gosh,
I
I
know.
don't know. It's well, I started out as a classical singer, right? So when I left school, I had done like musicals at school. We did,
Yeah.
our end of term shows and stuff like that, and I always loved that. Like I properly loved it.
Mhm.
But I was a big fan of like the music department at my school, and so we did like Bugsy Malone and Oklahoma and Wizard of Oz, all those shows,
Yeah, yeah.
and I loved doing those. But when it got to like the end of my time at school, my teacher kind of took me under her wing. She was like, you should apply for music school. You should go there. And I was like, do you think so? I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough to go. And so she walked and gave me some like private lessons and stuff. And then I got into Royal Scottish Academy, as it was
Oh,
called
fantastic.
then. It's now called the Conservatoire now. The Royal Scottish Conservatoire is called now. And so I went there, but to do music. So I did a music degree, but it was classical music and classical
Mhm.
singing. So I did that for 4 years. And at the end of those 4 years, I always thought, because the school was called music and drama, I thought I would get to do more drama than I did,
Yeah.
but we didn't. It was just music. They were like, all the
Just
people in
music.
drama were kept down the stairs in the basement. We were barely allowed to talk to them.
Lock them
And
down there. Yeah.
yeah, but I could see them like in the corridors, like walking past, doing little scenes and duologues and stuff. And I was so jealous. I was like, I want to do that. But anyway, I loved what I was doing anyway. But at the end of my time there, I thought, what am I going to do now? Because I was like 20, 21,
Mhm.
finishing my degree. I was too young to be like an opera singer,
Yeah.
or, I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. And so they wanted me to carry on studying classical singing, to be like for further down the line. But I was like,
Mhm.
I want to make some money. I want to do something. I was getting like impatient.
Don't we all?
So, so I had a couple of friends of friends that had done a course in London at the Royal Academy of Music, which was a
Mhm.
musical theatre course, and so I applied there. Not sure if I would get in, and but I did. I got in,
Good.
and so that's how I ended up moving to London to do that. And I felt at home because it was still a music school, but they had a musical theatre department. Now all of these colleges have got
Hey.
musical theatre courses of their own, but it's yeah, it was like one of the early ones. So
Mhm.
so I did that, and when I left, I got a job, and then I've just been
You just
basically working
kept
from
working.
job to job with
Yeah.
gaps in between. But yeah, that I always thought at some point that I might go back to classical singing, but I can basically say
Maybe.
it's not going to happen there.
No.
I think I've been too far away from it. My friends
Yeah.
that I was at college with still do it, and they sound amazing, and they're incredible.
Wow.
And in the shower, I think I sound amazing doing it as well. But they've basically taken me aside and an intervention and told me it's not going to happen. I'm like, okay, I'll face right.
Oh, they could have
So that's
brought you down
basically.
a bit more light.
I know. Yeah, no, they don't. They're
No.
cruel. They're a cruel bunch.
Fair enough. I mean, you have been out there doing some incredible things, so they might be jealous. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. I don't. I doubt it. I doubt it. They kind of like that. Most of them look at musical theatre as if I've gone to the dark side. That's what they think. They like to go and see musicals, but they're like, but how do you do all that singing? You know, because in opera you basically sing. You do like 3 or 4 shows a week. They're like, you do 8 shows a week. How do you do that many?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's why you just told me I sound rubbish in the show because I sing 8 times a week.
Exactly. Yeah. Did you ever have like any other career paths in mind that you wanted to go to, but you didn't because you went down this route, or was it always that you wanted to perform?
I think when I started thinking seriously about what I wanted to do, it was always going to be performance of some kind. But before that, I wanted to be a pilot.
Oh.
I always wanted to be a pilot when I was at school. I wanted to be a pilot. But then some random test at school made those dreams shatter. They found out that I was colorblind, and I couldn't. I didn't know until I'd taken this test one day, and they said, "Yeah, you're pretty colorblind." I mean, I can still see like colors. I can see. I've never known any different. So it's just certain shades I can't see. But I suppose if you're in a cockpit and you've got to press like certain buttons, you might get mixed up. So they were like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea for you to be a pilot. So I gave that up, idea up, and then but I haven't looked back since I wanted to perform.
Good. I mean, who knows? You might play a pilot at some point, and then you can live your dreams.
Now that would be a way around it, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't
play
it?
A pilot,
Is there any shows with pilots in them?
Well,
Come From Away. I was going to say, yeah.
But that's a female. Is that a female pilot?
Yeah, unless you want to do it in drag, I'm sure they wouldn't object.
I mean, yeah, give you that. There's another show, Boeing, or Catch Me If You Can.
Oh.
But I'm too old for that now.
We'll write a new one. We'll write a new musical with a pilot in it, and then just we have that time in our hands at the point. You just write that. So now, just gonna sort of chat things in your career and things you've done. They're in a complete botched order because I just picked random things. So the first thing we could talk about is Jersey Boys. That's an experience. Yeah. So what was that for you?
Do you know what? It was amazing because I had been doing some shows, since I left college.
Yeah.
And basically doing little gigs here and there, and I'd done a couple of jobs in the West End before that, but it was like the first like big show that I had done, and obviously it was the original cast in London, and it was it kind of like snuck up on me because I was doing a job in Plymouth, a musical called Imagine This.
Oh yeah,
and which came to London, but by that point I was already doing Jersey Boys, and I remember I was having a car journey back with my friend from Plymouth to London, and she said, "Oh, I saw this show on Broadway called Jersey Boys," and I had never heard of it, and I was like, "What's that about, Jersey Boys?" I was thinking of like the island off the UK, like Jersey. I've got friends that live in Jersey, and I was like, "What is there like special about Jersey?" She was like, "No, it's New Jersey." And I was like, all right. So I was thinking it was like some kind of cross between History Boys, but like in Jersey or something. I don't know. And she was like, no, it's the Four Seasons. So on the cards on, she was like, I've got the CDs. Just put the CD on. And I was like, this is amazing. I was like, I know so many of these songs, and I didn't know they were by the Four Seasons. And so within about 5 days of me being back in London, I got an audition for it.
Oh, wow.
And I went in, and obviously I'd been listening to it, and I knew a bit about it. And it was one of the quickest audition periods ever. I think it was done in like 10 days.
Wow.
I was in maybe about 3 or 4 times. But within 10 days, I had an offer to do the show. And I was just like, what? And I was my agent calling me. Like, yeah, it was incredible. But doing the show was amazing. I mean, it's such a great show to do.
It looks great.
It really is. It's really well written. and it's, you know, it's funny, and the music is great. It's like being in a band. Do you know what I mean? I was just speaking to Glenn from the show a couple of hours ago, and the people that I've met in that show, we're all still friends today. Do you know what I mean? There's a real sense of that we did something together. Do you know what I mean? I can remember
absolutely.
It feels a bit like we were a band. It feels like that. I mean, we weren't.
You were,
to be honest, but we played as if we were in a band. But it was great. It was great, and I got to, you know, opening night. It was my first big opening night with all celebrities there, and going out front and seeing the red carpet and just being like, oh my god, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
It was,
and you brought that show to London, like, you know, that was you were the first people in there, which was fantastic to be in the first bunch.
We were worried that it was really American, and because there was a lot of have you seen Jersey Boys? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. No.
You've not seen it?
No.
I think that there's a lot of like specifically like New Jersey references that maybe you wouldn't get if you were British, if you didn't know about it. We were worried about that, and I think the producers were also worried about that, and the writers, and they thought, let's see how it goes during previews, and if things don't land the way they do it in America, then we can change them. So there was a few big ones, but Glenn had the most changes.
He was talking about that. He was saying about the changes.
And I remember just sitting in the auditorium, sitting backstage and listening to him go out there. I was like, I don't know how you do that, because they were changing huge swathes of the monologue from and of the dialogue, and it was just he would just make some of it up. And I was like, I don't know how he's doing that either. I would be like, I'd be trembling. Like,
I don't think I'd be able to do that. Not after you've learned it, you know. If it was.
I know. You spend all that time learning it, and it was the first show that I did. But when we all went for the first day, everyone in the cast went for the first day, and we had the meet and greet, and everyone was sat around at the table and introducing themselves. I'm such and such. I'm playing such and such. I mean, we all went round, and the creatives were all there, and then the director, Des McAnuff, said, "Okay, so you're now going to have 3 days of learning about all the things that are in the show. Like they call it like, what do they call it? Like dramaturgy or something. It was like dramaturgy, but it was like Jersey Boys School or something. And we had to watch videos about New Jersey and about the dance styles at the time and the Four Seasons. And there was a lot of reading and stuff. And I was like, it was like being in a lecture. Do you know what I mean? But it was kind of more fun. Occasionally they'd put on videos of people like doing the twist, and everybody had to get up and do the twist. And you're like, okay. I was like, okay, I'm definitely getting I'm definitely getting paid for this, but aren't I? Like, and then and the director said, you have to. He said, well, so we'll start rehearsals in like 3 days. You go through that. He says, but when we start rehearsals, I want you to be off book for the start of rehearsals. So I was like, oh right, okay. So it was the first time I'd ever gone 3. Basically, I had to know the words before I went to rehearsals. So I managed to do it. I don't know if I could do it now so easily, but I managed to do it just about.
Wow. I mean, that sounds like it was a lot of fun though, as well. And
it was great.
The music in the show is some top-notch tunes. I mean, it's up there with songs in Mamma Mia and the songs in Queen of the Desert. It's one of them kind of shows.
Yeah, there's just so many songs that people know, and they might not even know that they were by the Four Seasons. They just know, and especially for some older people, like when my parents came to see it, and you know, family, friends, and stuff, they just felt like they kept saying, "Oh, this is like the soundtrack to my life." Like, I know when these certain songs come on, I knew what I was doing when I was younger, and I was like, "Oh, really?" So it was interesting to see how it affected people just seeing the music, just hearing the music, and then also because it brought in a different crowd, I think, to the theatre. Suddenly, men wanted to go and see musical theatre, and so you would go out and it was basically like half and half split of men and women, because normally the women would go and see the musicals on their own. I don't know why musicals.
I don't know why.
And then, but when they were going to see Jersey Boys, their husbands all wanted to go with them. But they're like, no, I'm coming to
this one.
Yeah.
We got my grandparents' tickets to the tour when it was coming up this way, and you know what? Biggest regret is not going with them. Honestly, what a mistake we made. What a mistake. Honestly, I so wish that we had.
You lost out.
I mean, it is coming back, but
yeah,
needed to.
Yeah, you should see it, because just for like the writing, writing. I mean, obviously the music, but then the story and just the writing is so like razor sharp. It's just so good, so good. Those writers are amazing.
I do need to see it. So the next thing that I've written down on my ever-growing list of things you've been in, becoming Nancy. What was that like? Not what was that?
What was that?
What the hell was that? Yeah.
Becoming Nancy has been like a long journey for me, because I think it was 2014 that we did the first reading of Becoming Nancy. My agent said, "Oh, I've had an inquiry if you want to play this part in the workshop. They're doing a workshop of it." And it was only a week-long workshop, I think. And I was like, what is it? And she said, well, it's a book, Becoming Nancy. So I immediately went and bought the book, which I loved, like by Terry Ronald. I loved that book. And plus the writers were Stiles and Drew, who'd written Honk and the music for Mary Poppins. And,
love Honk.
And, they're like kind of like the biggest, homegrown British musical theatre writers that we have right now. And so I was like, yeah, I'll definitely do it, because they had done a workshop. What was it they did? They were doing Wind in the Willows before. And they'd asked me to be in the workshop a couple of times, and I could never do it. And so suddenly I was like, yeah, I must do this. And then Jerry Mitchell was doing it. And I had just finished Legally Blonde. So I kind of knew him, and I was like, yeah, I want to be involved in this. So that was 2014. And then we did another reading in 2015 and another one in 2016. And then 2016, I moved to New York, and I thought, I don't know what will happen if I'll have to come back. And then my agent called, and she said, oh, do you want to do another reading of Becoming Nancy? I was like, yeah, definitely. I said, but I don't know if I will be able to do it. And she said, well, they're doing it in New York. And I was like, what? And so it just so happened that me and Sally Ann Triplett, who was also in it, had both moved to New York roughly at the same time. And they said, well, there's a few people that we definitely want to have in the show. So we think it might be easier if we do it here, and then we can fly some people out to New York to do it. And I was like, okay, that's just like crazy. Like, this is like meant to be. So we did that, another few readings, and then we eventually got to do the show in Atlanta. I was going to say last year, but we've lost a whole year. No, it was 2019. We did it.
Last year didn't happen.
And it was great to see it finally. It was like having a little child, watching a little child grow up, and then finally seeing what it was like in front of an audience. It's a cool story. It's a really cool story. And I know that they're still working on it, and plans to take it to Broadway. So fingers crossed.
Awesome.
Fingers crossed it gets sorted.
Hopefully.
Would you what?
Will you go with it to Broadway? Or you?
I'd love to. I'd love to if it happens. I don't know.
Oh, well, why not? So the next thing we should talk about is Legally Blonde, because that is another huge show.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite shows.
Is it?
Like, it's like the show that I did the least, but I have like the most great memories from it. I loved being in that show.
Yeah.
And I think part of it was, it's just so fun, and it's just happy, and people said it was just like the guilty pleasure. I always feel like, when I saw the film and I heard that we're going to make a musical of it, I was like, that is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit it. I was like, that's going to be terrible. And then when I saw it, I was like, this is amazing. I was like, I'm loving this. I remember sitting and turning to my friend and going at the interval. I was like, I love this. She was like, yeah. She was like, yeah. I really like.
Me too.
The music is great, and it's just really fun. But part of me, I think, as an actor, it came very soon after doing Jersey Boys, and Jersey Boys is split into like four parts. So you've got, in the first part, because it's 4 seasons, they do spring, summer, autumn, winter.
Yeah.
See what they did there? It's really clever. And so each of the 4 boys has a part to narrate, basically telling their side of the story. And so it could be a lot of my stuff were monologues out front. So you're basically talking to the audience, telling them the story, and then you jump into a scene.
Yeah.
But so much of it was monologues out front that it was quite lonely. You probably wouldn't get that impression watching the show, because you're watching 4 boys. I remember I used to come home pretty stressed because I was just in my own head, saying these monologues all the time. And I thought, it feels like I never speak to anyone on stage. You know, I'm not acting. I'm just standing.
I'm just talking
acting to a dark auditorium. I just can't see. So it's kind of weird. So then suddenly going into a show where I was actually in scenes with people, I wasn't talking out front. I just find it so freeing, and it was just so much fun.
Speaking to actual people.
It was, and dogs.
And dogs.
And dogs as well.
Oh, how cute was it working with dogs though?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I love dogs, but I am allergic to them. So
oh no.
My dressing room was like right next door to where the dogs were. I think I was right next door. Was I 2 away? I can't remember. Along. No. But because I had to interact with the dogs, I would have to go in early every day just to, to get the dogs used to me, because there were different sets of dogs. So they were like, this is the dog that's going on tonight. And so we had 2 bulldogs, and then I think there were about 8 chihuahuas.
Wow.
And so you had to go. I didn't really do much with the chihuahuas because they were a bit nasty. But the bulldogs I absolutely loved. We had Monty and we had Lola. And I loved Monty so much. But they basically taught me I had to go on and lift Monty up on the stage and take him off. And so there'd been a couple of incidents where he'd almost been dropped and he was a bit unsure of being picked up. So they were like, so we're going to use this as we're going to start afresh, and you can, you can get to know Monty and then let him trust you and know that you're going to pick him up and you're not going to drop him. But there's actually my friend that was one of the dog handlers. She made a video of Monty and I that's on YouTube. If you Google Stephen Ashfield and Monty, it'll come up.
I'll go find
it. You see the love, the unadulterated.
I want to see Monty. Yeah. Oh, how cute! I love dogs. I love this. Is just now gone into a Monty fan page.
It's so exactly. He should have one. But I think when dogs come on the stage, the audience is so crazy. I mean, you can basically do anything on stage and no one will watch you as long as there's a dog.
Just watching the dog. Yeah.
I was like, there's no point in me doing anything because it's all about that dog right now. The whole audience are like, dog.
Pretty much. Even at stage door, you walk out, dog walks out, I'm going to the dog. I'm really sorry.
Yeah. They were proper necessary.
Love dogs. So now we're gonna jump on a call a midwife, because I did not know you had done this until the other day, and I just found out.
Yeah, that was quite a few years ago now. That was I think that was like 2014 or something.
Wow.
And I loved it. I had never really done any TV before.
No.
That was the first job, and I literally had gone for one casting for this part, and he was Scottish. He was Scottish, but it's weird because I had never really done anything in my own accent before.
Yeah.
And so I remember reading in the casting room. It's very different from like a theatre audition because you're just sat at a table and there's like a camera pointed at you and some people are reading back and forward. Mm-hmm. And I basically felt like I did nothing. I was like, I just read the script. I didn't really do anything. And literally it was the next day, my agent called and was like, "Yeah, you've been penciled in for that." I was like, "What?" And so then I had also never seen an episode, so I thought I better watch.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So I think I like binge watched 2 episodes. Two series. Two series. Yeah. And so no spoilers, but I don't know if you've seen it, but then I come in at the end of season 3, and at the time that it was to be the love interest for the lead girl, Jessica Raine, and so at the time they said we think that Jessica's leaving the show, so you know it's going to be a way for you to an exit for her. You know, she's going to meet her husband and you're going to leave. And I was like, okay. She was like, but she might change her mind, so there might be something else. And I was like, please don't leave. Please don't leave. I want to do more.
I want to stay.
She'd done it for 3 years, and she's like, no, it's time for me to do something new. And I was like,
just like, can we just write the storyline so she moves away, I stay here? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna stay, guys.
I mean, it's on the TV all the time. We turned the TV on and Call the Midwife was on, just on. Why is it on? Who knows? But it was on, just randomly playing repeats.
Everyone
So
loves it. People love
it's
it.
just on, which is brilliant
Yeah,
because my whole
and
family
it's quite
absolutely adore
graphic.
it.
Can be quite graphic sometimes with the baby. There's the kind of obligatory baby being born shot at every episode.
Yeah.
Where it's like the baby just arrives, like baby and just like water liquid coming down, and it's like you're like,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah,
Just what
you
I
don't
wanted
want
to
it at
say.
tea time, not at dinner time.
No, that's very true. But it's great that you had like that other experience and the different side of working on
Yeah,
screen.
it was great because it made me want to do more as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, I still want to do more. But it's yeah, it's good to be involved in something like that. That's, you know, this such a big TV thing. I suppose people
Yeah.
talk about it. I suppose it was at the same time as Downton, so
Yeah.
people were maybe you were either in the Downton camp or the Colin Midwife camp.
It's that, isn't it? It really is.
I'm sure loads of people watched both of them. So,
No, it's like a West Side Story kind of thing. You know, we've got one side and we've got the other, and that is how it's staying.
yeah.
Not allowed in. Yeah. So also you did Sweeney Todd, which is a thing.
The movie, I know that's so
Yeah.
long ago. That's
That's
so long
I
ago.
was like,
That
what?
was a really like weird thing that came about because I was doing a show in Wales, Beauty and the Beast. I was doing Beauty and the Beast, but it
Wow.
wasn't like the Disney Beauty and the Beast. It was
No.
like a panto version of Beauty and the Beast, and it was it was like top quality panto, but
Good.
at Theatre Clued, which is like an amazing place.
It looks
But
beautiful.
the choreographer, yeah, it's so nice. And you're like in the countryside, and I had this little cottage right beside the theatre that they called. It was my own digs, but I arranged these digs. But I think when actors go there, they always know it. They call it the Hobbit Hole because it's like a tiny little cottage that you have on your own with like really low doors. And I'm 6'2", so I was like, but it was dead cozy. Do you know what I mean? When you're doing 2 shows a day, it was like right next to the theatre. It was amazing for me to go back and forward. But the choreographer of the show, Fran James, we were just like having a drink after rehearsal one night, and at the time my hair was long, and she was like, "Are you planning on keeping your hair long?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know if they're going to make me cut it for this or not. I don't know." She was like, "I think you should keep it longish." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Why?" And she said, "Well," and then I find out she's just like chatting. I was like, she basically is the choreographer for every time Tim Burton makes a movie, she's the choreographer. And I was like, are you being serious? Like, we're at pantomime in North Wales, and you're like the choreographer for Tim Burton. Yeah, and she's like, yeah, we just finished Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and something. I'm like, okay. She said, so we're going to be doing Sweeney Todd. She said, and we really need guys with long hair. So could you give me your stuff and I'll submit you? And I was like, okay.
All right then, yeah.
I know. I was like, so I got submitted, and then they were like, yeah, so don't cut your hair. And it was basically going to be, when was it? It was going to be just after we'd finished in January, because that's one of those pantos that ran to the end of January.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't wait to do it. And then something weird happened. I can't remember something. I feel like it was Johnny Depp's daughter got ill or something like that. And so they postponed the film a little bit. And then I had to fit it in because I knew there was going to be like 2 weeks of filming. And they said, if it goes beyond this time, I couldn't do it because I was already contracted for another job.
Yeah.
And so I was like, please let it happen. And then it happened and it all worked out fine. But I said, if you watch the film, you'll see me with my long hair, not doing as much as we were supposed to be doing, because we basically got there. We're supposed to be singing the chorus of that, God, that's good. And so the chorus keep going, God, that's good. So they'd have 8 people to be the chorus, roundabout, like Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we got there, Tim Burton was like, guys, I'm sorry, I've basically cut all of the ensemble singing in the whole film. And we were like,
you
what?
better not, Tim.
And they said, but we're still going to use you. They said, and we're going to make sure that we're going to position you around them so that the actors can bounce off you and stuff. And I was like, okay. So we didn't actually sing in the end, even though we had recorded it. But we did that, and so it was nice to be on set. I think we were on set for like 5 days or something. But it was great fun. It really was like great fun to be in because they built this huge set in Pinewood Studios.
Yeah.
And just to be that, and then I think they were filming Mamma Mia in the studio next door. They were filming, I think, in the James Bond studio, and we were filming in the one next door. But they built this huge set. It was pretty incredible. And if you watch Sweeney Todd, there's a really badly edited bit, because the scene that we were in was when they opened the pie shop, and all the customers are going in. I basically entered the shop 3 times in a row.
Oh well,
and it's obviously me. If you watch it on YouTube, you can see. Oh, well, don't watch it on YouTube. Buy it. But I'll get
watch it on something that you can buy it on.
And so it goes, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? And then that's Toby, and then and it goes to the shot of me, and I'm in my top hat, and I've got like long hair, and I got like hair like hanging down here, and a top hat, and I clock it, and I walk into the shop, and then I walk into the shop again, and then I walk into the shop again. It's like 3 times in a row. It's like, is that the best pictures we have? Like,
yeah, you've been in there quite a few times. Is everything all right?
Yeah, I know. But it was great fun.
But that's like a piece of musical theatre history, that film of Sweeney Todd with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter in it.
I know.
That's something that's stayed there forever.
It's quite gory.
Walk into the shop 3 times, and there you go. That's something that's stick with you.
There I am.
People think you're taking the mick if you were telling them that's where you were. That's not you again, is it? It is.
I know, exactly.
But that's fantastic. And obviously, the last thing that I've got written down is probably one of my favourite shows ever, Book of Mormon. Of course.
Oh.
The best thing ever. So you've done this on everywhere, pretty much. So what's it been like?
What did you say?
I've done it everywhere.
Well, no, just in London and New York. Just London, New York. I'd love to do it in Scotland. After doing it for so long.
Do it on the tour. Go on.
I know.
Don't be shy.
I wanted to go and do it in Scotland just to be like, just because I'd done it in London for so long, and there's quite a few people in Scotland that had never made it down to see it, and I thought I'd love to go, and like the first time it's in Scotland, I'd love to do it, and I still would love to do that, but we'll have to see what happens when things open up. But, Book of Mormon is just it's such a great show to be in. I mean, I've been in that show since like I was born, so it'd be hard to do like a show for that long if you didn't enjoy it, because it brings so much joy to not only the audience, like the cast.
Yeah,
it's always funny, and it's so well written, and the songs are. I still sing the songs backstage. Just people are like, "Shut up!" I sing the songs that I'm not in too loudly, and people are like, "Are you not fed up with it?" No, sorry.
Nope.
Still sing it.
No, but it's a fantastic show, and obviously it is because it's run for so long. It's obviously still going. I'm looking at the year now and realizing it's not actually that long, but it's still run for longer than some shows do. And
well, I mean,
it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it opened in London in 2013.
Yeah,
I think 2013. So it's great, but I mean, it's still sold out. I mean, it's not at the minute, obviously, but it's so well put together, and they always pick the great venues for it because they want it to be compact, want it to be intimate. So if you see it, it's obviously different on tour, but if they're choosing a theatre for it to, to sit down in, to like be, to be, for a long time, they make sure that you feel like you're not too far away from the action, like you're watching. It's clever, because I think in London it's 1,000 seats, and maybe in New York it's like 1,100 seats.
Possibly.
Obviously, when they're on tour, they play like those huge big.
Yeah, they did Sunderland Empire, and that's 2,000. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
It's beautiful.
Did you see it there?
I did.
Yeah.
I was so happy to finally see it.
What were the audience like in Sunderland? Did they love it?
they enjoyed it. I would say
Did anyone walk out?
no walks out, which was fantastic. I think, up north we can deal with it. We can deal with it over here.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's going to Newcastle next year now. It was meant to be this year. It's going next year, which I will probably go and see it there too. Just
go.
Especially if you get yourself in it. Get yourself in it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I know. But no, it's just so much fun. Do you know what I mean? It's
exactly.
Like serious issues, but it's all done in a South Park. It's got a South Park slant on it.
Yeah.
And I had never watched South Park before. I don't really watch South Park now, and I would say that to my producer. My producer is also the producer of South Park, and she says another new series coming out this week and something. I was like, oh yeah. She was like, I know you don't watch it. It's fine. I know you don't watch it. I was like, okay.
Oops, exposed. But obviously, will you be returning to the show, or do you not know yet? Is this something that?
I don't think people know yet. I don't know. It depends. I'm
sure there'll be a place for you somewhere.
I'm about to play somebody's dad. I mean, I'm still playing a 19-year-old. It's crazy. I still have to line up with all those guys and be like, because basically when you go on your mission, you're 19 if you're in the Mormon Church. So I mean, if you go on your mission, although I don't say that I'm 19, I'm standing in a line when Elder Price says, "Now that I'm 19," but I'm way at the far end with that plan. Like, I'm as far away from it as possible.
You're like, no,
Don't look at the old day out in the corner. But a few of us are getting on now, and it's
no.
I feel like when I started the show in London, Gavin Creel was playing Elder Price, who's my friend, and he was older. And the time I remember like really taking piss at him because he was older. I was like, you have to say now that I'm 19. You have to like play 19. He was like, no, and now I'm older than he was then. And I'm like, oh yeah, how did that happen? How did that come around?
Oops. Yeah, I mean, he's incredible.
Yeah.
So no
he
wonder.
Is brilliant. But he likes to remind me of that fact when I.
Does he?
Oh. He's like, how old are you now? So you're still on the show? And I was like, yes, I know.
I mean, technically, you could play on the fact that they were already on their mission. I mean, I know you're in that sort of bit, but when you're McKinley,
I do that.
He was already on the mission. Yeah.
But that only buys me like a year or something.
Just be like, yeah, it's a very long mission.
Exactly.
It's taken me some time. How old are you? I'm 15.
How old are you, Robbie? You're 15. Oh my gosh. So, will Book of Mormon be a show that you would like to be on?
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd kill to go on as Price anytime, any day.
Yeah.
If they need me, call me.
Not Elder McKinley.
I mean, I would go for it.
Maybe I could hold out long enough until you're old enough to
just pass down the sparkly jacket for me. Yeah,
exactly.
I need to learn how to tap before I do that. That's you might have to teach me. And then you can hand down the sparkly jacket, and that'll be.
Well, do you know it's fine because they don't. For Elder McKinley, I think most of the Elder McKinleys can't tap.
Oh, good.
They teach you. They taught me how to do it. Basically, like 1-to-1, they taught me like really slowly how to do the.
Yeah, they'd have to do that to me too.
And then it just like speeded up until the point I was like, "You're joking! It's not actually that fast." You're like, "Yep, it is." But they're like, it's faster than that. What?
I just love how the whole theater goes into darkness. That's I really enjoyed that, and no one in Sunderland expected it. I don't think.
Yeah. And then the panic on Fuse on stage, when we've got to do the reveal,
do the jackets,
the reveal, the sparkly waistcoat, yeah, it's a nice surprise.
It is.
I'll get sacked for saying that.
It would if you exposed how it happened, that would very much get you sacked.
Exactly. Well, we're not allowed to say. People always say that. How did you do that?
How did you do
the pink?
Leave the magic.
Well, here. I know. I like to come up with like really elaborate ways of how it happened.
Please just start telling people that they like drop them from the ceiling or something.
I've done that. I was like, they all come in on wires, and we have to be standing on our mark, and we just like go into it.
That's my favorite way. That is.
Yeah, people have stopped believing me now. They don't. No, I just say it's McKinley's like a little sprinkle of McKinley fairy dust, and they just appear.
It's true.
It's my way of getting out of it.
There's a lot of theories going around. I mean, pretty sure I've clocked on, but
oh, you think so?
So let's jump onto the fans' questions before we expose the Mormon secrets. So the first fans' question is from Charlotte, and Charlotte's asked, "What are some of your fondest memories from your time in Jersey Boys?"
Oh, my fondest memories of Jersey Boys would be the rehearsal period. Like, it was a great rehearsal period, watching how they built the show.
Yeah.
I loved that. Also, just meeting, like I know I said before, meeting the friends that are still friends now. And I've got some big relationships from Jersey Boys. And I did touch on it before. I said we felt like we were in a band, because after the show, we would do obviously 8 shows a week, and then we would, after the show, go and do private functions. And so people were having like parties or birthday parties and occasions. So we would go and do those. And so you'd have like a van waiting after the show. You'd just come off stage, get in this van, and then go and do.
That's extreme.
It was just good, but it just bonded us together, and that's what it felt like. We were like a boy band, a man band.
Man band.
So, yeah. Yeah, and the fans in Jersey Boys were just always so supportive. They would turn up at, when I think of doing those events like West End Live.
Oh yeah.
And but it's such a great show for performances, because you just need the 4 boys and 4 mics, and then obviously everyone joins them afterwards, which makes it amazing. But you can really make an impact for that show quite easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The next question is from Trevor, and Trevor's asked, if you forget a line on stage, what do you do?
It happens quite a lot to me. Generally, I'm not very good at it, actually. Sometimes one of 2 things happens. Either I just keep talking, like as in whatever is in my head just keeps coming out of my mouth, because I always think, sometimes I'm brave and I think I can get myself out of this. I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but if I just keep talking long enough, it'll come right.
It'll come.
That very rarely works. Very rarely works. I realize that it's better for me just to be quiet and let someone else say something. So sometimes I'll just be quiet and look at people, but I like to throw it at them. I'm going to put the lights on because I'm getting dark. Let's see if this is better.
Turn it on.
Like a light switch to self-click. No, I'm a bit shadowy, but yeah. I'm going to put this here. Hopefully it'll be better. So I now look at other people that are on stage with me, and I'll just ask them a question. So that people have to, I'll be like they just know by my face that obviously I've tried, and I'm like, and I can see the fear come on them because I look at them. Like there was one time in Book of Mormon not that long ago, and I knew that my line was a question to someone, and so they had an answer, and I looked at them and I was like, and they knew that I didn't know the question, and I was like, so I was like looking at him. And he was looking at me and was like, oh, please just give me something. But then he just had to come out with the line. I mean, it's very unprofessional. It doesn't happen all that much, but when it does, I'm pretty
It's funny, yeah. The next question is from Brooke, and Brooke has asked, was there any mishaps on stage at Book of Mormon? I'm sure you got a story to tell of all them years in the show.
Yes, there have been mishaps. There are, like in all theatre shows.
Oh yeah,
things go.
It's live theatre. It's brilliant.
Yeah, things go wrong. I mean, you know those blue platforms that come on from side to side sometimes? Well, there was once that there was like a computer malfunction and they moved with the boys on them. They move. Sometimes they don't move. So that was a bit of a dodgy one. I have fallen quite a bit. Most of my kind of mishaps are falls. So when I also have to play the angel Moroni.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of Act 2, we come on for you're making things up again, Arnold. And I have to come on and be behind him. So you walk on from stage left, and then I stand on a stool. He's at the front looking out, singing out front. And I walked on in my sandals and went to stand on the stool, and my sandal caught on the stool. and I just fell right over the top of it.
Oh,
Like I just kept going, and my face was on the ground, but my legs were still up on the thing. So it's like, and my wig came off. So my wig like flew off, and I managed to like get up and just kind of put it back on. But the audience like actually applauded. It was, and I was hoping that it would not be that noticeable. I mean, how could I, a 6'2" guy, literally basically falling over right at the front of the stage?
well done. You fell down.
That happened. I also fell over in Man Up at the end of Act 1 because I'm dancing at the back at that point up on the platform, and I misjudged something and my foot went over the platform and I fell basically like 6 feet.
Oh no.
And I was just dazed and like on the ground, and I managed to stand up just for the button of like Act 1. Just like stood up and put my hands up. It was like
yeah.
Yeah, but I had such a bruise.
No.
Yeah.
The next question is from Lucy, and Lucy's asked, do you prefer working on stage or on screen?
I think I like them both for different things.
Yeah.
Most of my work has been on stage, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love, I miss that. I mean, I miss that immediate reaction from an audience. But the screen work is still like an ongoing project of mine. Do you know what I mean? I want to get better at it. I want to get better at it. I want to do more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you only really get to do that, with practice.
Yeah.
So, but I love it for the different reasons. It's a different art form. Do you know what I mean? So
it is.
It wouldn't be one or the other.
Very different.
It wouldn't be one or another. If I suddenly became a huge star on television, I don't think I would want to give up theatre. Do you know what I mean? I think
no.
I love theatre too much.
Then it'd be, starring, if you're on TV all the time.
Exactly.
So
starring the guy who falls over. Here he is.
Yeah, that's them. The final fans question I've got for you is from Evie, and Evie's asked, do you have a dream role?
A dream role? Well, do you know what? People have asked me in the past. They said, what would your dream role be? What would you like to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I always think, probably it's not written yet. Probably it's not.
Yeah.
I like to do new things. So you never know what's around the corner. If there's one role that exists right now that I'd love to do, I've always wanted to play the Phantom.
Yes.
So I would love to do that at some point.
Let's make that happen, even though they've downsized the orchestra now.
I know, I just read that today.
Everyone is angry.
Yeah. I know you get angry because, especially as a musician, I trained as a musician to see those people like.
It sucks, but at least the production's coming back. At least we've got Phantom still in the West End, and that's, I guess, what we've got to think, because.
Yeah, that's right. I just hope it still sounds the same.
Yeah.
It won't sound the same. I guess it's the new arrangement.
I hope it sounds all right.
Well, because part of the thing for going to Phantom for me was the huge orchestra. And it's like it was the biggest orchestra in the West End or on Broadway when you go and see. Although I think, I might be speaking out of turn, but I think they'd already downsized the orchestra on Broadway. I think they had, but I might be wrong. But it just sounds amazing. There's certain bits of that score that when the orchestra plays, dun, 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 dun,
it's
and
that.
It makes like the hair stand up on my arms. I'm like,
and the floor shakes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. So I hope they still have that. I'm sure that the powers that be have made sure that it's going to be. Yeah, but it's sad.
I don't think Weber would let it go out if it didn't sound incredible. I think he's very much
yeah.
And
I think he like orchestra. I remember reading his autobiography, one of his autobiographies. He's got so many.
Yeah.
But the one of the first ones, when he was talking about orchestrations, and he used to, because a lot of people give their music to other people to orchestrate them, and someone gave him advice and said, or heard something that he orchestrated, and he was like, you should orchestrate your own things because you know how you want it to sound. And I think he does do that, and I think it makes a difference.
Yeah,
always sounds very exciting.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. So the final thing I've got for you today is a nice little quiz on how well you know the Book of Mormon. So I know you've been looking forward to this. Hopefully you can beat my quiz. Right. So the first question I've got for you is, how many songs are in the original Broadway cast recording? It's below 20, if that helps.
It's below 12. Well, I was going to say 18.
No, 16.
Oh, come on. I'm not. I'm far
Very
off.
close. I'll give you half a point. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, the next one you should get, because I'm not looking too specific. You should be getting this one. When did Book of Mormon open on West End?
In the West End? Oh, I know this. 2013.
Yeah.
Tell me that's the answer you have.
I've got yeah. Do you have an exact date that I can give you? I will possibly give you your exact.
I do actually know. Well, I know that previews were in like about February the 28th or something like that. February 20th.
I will give you your other half point back because it was the 25th of February. So I will give you that. You can.
Yeah, I knew that. And then the actual opening night was in March. Was about 2.5 weeks later than that.
Wow. Well, see, there you go. You've earned your points back. The next couple are like show knowledge, which is interesting. I don't usually do these sort of things. I usually do like trivia, but I went down this route. I'm hoping that you'll get these. The first one is, what number rule is broken when Elder Price abandons Elder Cunningham? What rule number is that? It's sung.
Oh, it's sung
In Spooky Mormon Hell Dream. That is when we find out what rule number it was.
Do it. Break rule number 72, 73,
72. You got that right first time.
Is it 72?
72.
Yes. Do you know, actually, I thought it was the rule that I said, because I say it in my dialogue. There's a rule number 72. I wouldn't have got it if you hadn't told me it was sung.
Good. See, I'm nice at that. You should get this one. What is the name of Elder McKinley's 5th grade friend?
His what?
His friend from back in 5th grade. What's his name? Name of Elder McKinley's friend?
Steve Blade.
Yeah, that was easy. I went very easy on you there. The last one, I even included the American word just to make you feel back in America. What is the show runtime, including intermission?
Oh, including intermission. Well, how are you judging this? How are you judging it?
From Google.
Official, from Google. Okay. Well, I know that in America the show starts at 7, and it runs till about just before 9. So I want to say it's an hour 58 or 59.
Got 2 hours 35.
No, it's not.
Right, let me double Google this now, just in case. But I believe.
Oh no, wait a minute. No, you're right, because it's just less than an hour each half. It's about 55 minutes each half. So I wasn't counting the intermission. I know you said that.
I got you.
Yeah.
2 hours 35. Well, I think you did quite all right on that quiz. To say you weren't expecting a quiz.
I'm surprised.
I'm quite pleased with that. So we've made it to the end. The last few things I want to do is firstly remind people that I'm trying to raise a bit of money for Active for Others, and if they want to donate, there'll be a link in the description, and they can, because it's a great thing to do when the theaters are closed and no one's got any money. So if you want to help out
that's
people,
a very good thing.
Go and do that. And then obviously also to remember to follow me on social media, because that is where you'll find out who is going to be next in the Zoom. I don't know yet who's going to be next in the Zoom, but if you're watching this on Saturday when it goes out, maybe I do. I have no idea. Who should I get in?
Who should you get in? Who should you get in? Have you had Faye Brooks?
I haven't.
Faye Brooks. I was going to say she just won the ice dancing show, Dance on Ice, but she didn't. She came second. I did Legally Blonde with her on the tour. She was Elle Woods on the tour. She'd be great. She's so lovely. She's lovely.
And Chicago upcoming thing she's doing.
Yes, yeah. Also, have you had Gina Beck?
I haven't. This is terrible. I need to
have Gina.
I
Beck.
need them.
You have to have
Come to me.
Gina Beck or Nikki Swift. Nikki Swift is plays.
Well,
she play one of the
send them
one of the
my
women
way.
in Mamma Mia. I will send them an email.
Send them at me. But apart from that, thanks for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and chatting about everything. It's been so much.
Thank you. It's been nice to reminisce about all those mishaps on stage.
Exactly. And thanks to anyone who's watched or listened at home. I'll see you in the next episode.